Sierra, the Superhero Dog. Chapter 1. The Dusty Pines Pack. Dusty Pines Trailer Park was a patchwork of rust and dreams, where trailers sagged like old dogs and potholes swallowed stray hubcaps. To Sierra, a wiry brown mutt with one floppy ear, it was paradise. She trotted through the gravel paths, her nose twitching at the scent of burnt hot dogs and motor oil. Right behind her was Ron, a lanky black hound with a crooked tail and a bark like a broken trumpet. "Smell that, Sierra?" Ron yipped, the long legs kicking up dust. "Mrs. Lopez is grilling again. Bet we could snag a sausage." Sierra's tail wagged like a metronome. Sausages were gold, but she'd settle for a crusty French fry nobody claimed, dodging brooms and scavenging scraps. Dusty Pines was their kingdom. Packed with oddballs, old man Jenkins, who bottled clouds with his boots, Miss Lopez, who treated her plastic flamingos like puppies, and Tommy Troubled Tate, a kid whose pranks kept Sierra on her toes. Sierra and Ron were a pack of two. They chased squirrels, napped in tire piles, and shared every bone. Ron was the planner, sniffing out the best dumpsters. Sierra was the muscle, ready to dive into a fight or a trash can. They'd sit on a bald tire at dusk, watching the park hum. Miss Tammy's karaoke blaring, feral cats glaring from fences. "We could be heroes," Ron said one evening, gnawing a stick, "like those dogs on TV saving folks." Sierra pawed her snout. Heroes? She'd rather steal Jenkins' sandwich. But a spark in her gut said she was meant for more than dodging Tommy's water balloons. That spark flared when they crossed paths with Brutus, a bulldog with a face like a smashed potato. He ruled the park's prime scavenging spot, a dumpster behind the water tower, with his gang of mangy mutts. As Sierra and Ron passed, Brutus growled, "Runts!" Ron bristled, but Sierra nudged him along. "Not worth it," she muttered. Brutus' crew was trouble, and Sierra wasn't looking for a fight. Not yet. Back at their trailer, Sierra curled up, dreaming of adventure. She didn't know it, but adventure was sniffing her out, and it smelled like trouble. Chapter 2. Glowing Snack. The next morning, Sierra woke to a scent that yanked her from her sleep. Ron was sitting, snoring, her legs twitching in a dream chase. She slipped out, nose to the ground, following a trail behind old man Jenkins' trail. There, in a pile of compost, was poo. Not dog, cat, or a raccoon. It glowed, like someone sprinkled stardust on it. The smell wasn't gross. It was alive, buzzing with promise. Sierra's stomach growled. Ron would bark, "No way! That's nasty!" But he wasn't here. She chomped it down. Her world exploded. Her fur tingled. Her floppy ears snapped upright. She heard Tommy Tate whispering a prank plan 4 trailers away. Her legs buzzed like she could outrun a pickup. When she barked, a gust flipped Jenkins' lawn chair into the fence. Ooh! What's happening? Sierra thought, her doggy brain spinning. A scream cut through Mrs. Lopez, who was flapping her arms, pointing at her prize flamenco, stuck on Mrs. Tammy's roof. Tommy Tate snickered nearby, his slingshot dangling. Sierra's new instinct roared. She sprinted, leaped onto the trash can, then a car hood, and whoosh, landed on the roof. With a nudge, she pushed the flamenco down to Mrs. Lopez, who hugged it like a lost pup. The park clapped. Tommy's jaw dropped. That mutt's unreal. Ron trotted up, eyes wide. Sierra, you're super. Sierra wagged her tail, but her nose caught a new scent. Brutus, watching from the shadows. His squinting eyes said he'd seen everything. He growled to his gang, We gotta get it. Back under their trailer, Sierra tried to explain. Ron gagged. You ate poo? Gross. But it made you a superhero. He sniffed her, curious but queasy. We gotta keep this quiet. Brutus looked hungry. Sierra nodded. Her powers were awesome, but Brutus' glare meant trouble. She'd need to watch her tail and her glowing snacks. Chapter 3. Sierra's Origins. Sierra lay under the trailer, Ron gnawing a stale bun beside her. Her mind raced. She wasn't always this fast, this strong. What had changed? As Ron's snores started, Sierra's thought drifted back to her past. She was born in an alley, scrounging with her mom, a tough mutt who taught her to dodge cars and sniff out scraps. One stormy night, Sierra got swept away in a flood, landing in a ditch near Dusty Pines. Cold and alone, she curled up, sure she'd never see her mom again. Then Ron appeared, a gangly pup, barely older, sniffing for food. He dropped a half-eaten burger and yipped. Eat, Ron! You look like a drowned rat! Sierra scoffed it down, tail wagging. Ron led her to Dusty Pines, where they claimed the trailer's underbelly as home. You're my pack now, he barked, his crooked tail thumping. They'd been a team ever since, ruling the park's shadows. Sierra always felt different, though. Once, near the water tower, she dug up a glowing bone that hummed like a bee. She didn't eat it, too hard, but it stuck with her. Now that glowing poo felt connected. Mrs. Lopez had mentioned the tinkerer, a weirdo who'd lived in the park years ago, tinkering with strange machines. Left junk everywhere, she said, glowing sometimes. Sierra wondered, was the tinkerer's junk in the ground? Did it make the poo? She licked Ron's ear, waking her. What? She grumbled. Just thinking, Sierra yipped. We're gonna figure this out, Ron snorted. Figure out dinner first. But his eyes gleamed. They were a pack, and packs face mysteries together. Chapter 4. Testing the Powers. Sierra's powers grew with every glowing snack, but Ron insisted she ration them. That stuff's gross, Sierra. Save it for hero stuff. She became her coach, barking ideas while she tested her skills. She outran Tommy's bike, leaving him gaping. She dragged a fallen fence post off Mrs. Lopez's garden, earning a hot dog. Her super sniff found Tommy's hidden stink bombs before he could strike. Ron's tail wagged, but his eyes dimmed sometimes. "You were the hero," he muttered, after Sierra stopped Jenkins' runaway lawnmower with a sonic bark. The park cheered, tossing scraps, but Ron hung back. "What am I? Just a dog that barks orders?" Sierra nipped him. "You're my pack. That's enough." But Ron's sulk lingered. One night, Ron sneaked into the glowing poo pile and ate a bite. He hoped for powers, but got a tummy ache instead. Sierra found him whimpering under the trailer. "Why'd you do that?" she growled, worried. "Wanted to be super too," Ron mumbled. "Not just your shadow." Sierra pressed her nose to hers. "You're not my shadow. You're my packmate." Ron wagged weakly, but the riff stung. They didn't know Brutus was watching, plotting to steal the poo and Sierra's powers. Chapter 5. Brutus's Challenge. Brutus cornered Sierra and Ron at the water tower, his gang snarling behind him. "Heard about your growling trick, runt," he growled. "Hand over the poo, or we'll take it." Sierra's fur bristled. "It's mine, bulldog. Back off." Ron trembled and barked. "Yeah, get lost." Brutus charged. Sierra dodged, her super speed a blur, and leaping into the water tower ladder. Her sonic bark scattered Brutus's gang, sending them yelping into the dust. Brutus stood firm, snarling, "This ain't over." As they fled, Ron clutched the tattered notebook, found by Tommy in a ditch. It was the Tinker's, filled with sketches of bioenergy, vials and notes of buried waste. "This could explain the poo," Ron yelped, excited. Sierra nodded, but her eyes stayed on the tower. Brutus wasn't done, and she'd need every trick to keep her powers safe. Chapter 6. The Bulldozer Threat. A shiny SUV rolled into Dusty Pines, and Miss Carver, a suit-wearing human, announced plans to bulldoze the park for a strip mall. Jenkins waved his boot. Miss Lopez hugged her flamingos, and the dogs growled. This was their turf. Sierra's super sniff led her to Carver's briefcase, left by his car. She and Ron tore it open, finding papers reeking of lies, proof Carver bribed officials. "We're gonna bury this guy," Ron barked, through his legs wobbling. He tried glowing poo again, desperate for powers, and was sicker than ever. Sierra nudged him. "You don't need powers. You've got brains." Ron wagged, but his cough worried her. They planned. Sierra would scatter the papers to expose Carver. Ron would rally the feral cats to spook workers. But Ron's sickness slowed him, and Sierra knew she'd need help. Maybe even from Brutus. Chapter 7. Rallying the Park. Sierra zipped through dusty pines, scattering Carver's papers with her teeth. Humans found them, gasping at the bribes. Ron, despite his cough, led the cats to claw tires and hiss at workers. Jenkins piled junk at the gates, cars, chairs, boots. Mrs. Lopez waved the flamingo like a flag. Brutus approached, tail low. "Carver's bad for all of us," he grunted. "All help for the park." Sierra glared. "One wrong move, Bulldog." Ron nudged her. "We need him, Sierra. Pack's gotta grow." Sierra nodded, uneasy. Brutus's gang joined the cats, snapping at workers. The park united, but Carver's bulldozer loomed. Sierra needed answers about her powers and Ron's sickness. Chapter 8. The Tinker's Secret. Sierra and Ron sneaked to an overgrown shed near the water tower, rumored to be the Tinker's. Inside, glowing vials lined shelves, and notes detailed radioactive waste buried in dusty pines. "Bioenergy experiment," one read. "The spark chooses the champion." Sierra's tail wagged. "It's me." But Ron's cough worsens, his pooting backfiring. "I'm no champion," he wheezed. Sierra pressed against him. "You're my pack. That's bigger," she vowed to protect him, powers or not. The shed hummed, hinting at more secrets. Sierra grabbed a note for proof, knowing the final fight was coming. Chapter 9. Showdown at Dusty Pines. The sun rose over dusty pines, glinting off Carver's bulldozer. Sierra stood on a tire pile, fur bristling. With Ron by her side, the park buzzed. Mrs. Lopez clutching flamencos, Jenkins waving his boot, Miss Tammy blasting protest songs. Cats hissed, and Brutus' gang lurked, tails low. "Ready, park mate?" Ron barked, his eyes bright despite his cough. Sierra nodded. "Let's save our home." Sierra scarfed her last glowing poo. Power surged. She leaped onto the bulldozer, her sonic bark crackling its streets. Ron led cats and Brutus gang to spook workers. Brutus tackled a worker, grunting, "This is my turf too." Humans blocked gates with junk. Jenkins' boot hit Carver's windshield, but the bulldozer rolled towards Sierra. She saw Ron, cornered by the net-wielding worker. "No, you don't," she barked, blasting the worker into mud. Carver aimed for the trailers. Sierra sprinted under the bulldozer, her final bark opening a sinkhole. The machine crashed. Carver fled as cops arrived, tipped off by Miss Tammy's reporter friend. Brutus nudged Sierra. "Not bad, runt. Call me for backup." Sierra grinned. "Deal." Chapter 10. Guardians of Dusty Pines. Dusty Pines thrived, flamencos upright, Jenkins yelling, Miss Tammy singing. Sierra and Ron buried the glowing poo to avoid trouble. keeping the tinker's notes. Brutus joined their patrols. A weary alley. The shed hummed, whispering more mysteries. On their tire, Ron yipped, "Best pack ever." Sierra barked, knocking him off, "Best alpha ever." As stars lit the park, Sierra sniffed the air. Adventures waited. She'd face them with her pack. The end.